Pawan was feeling rather lonely and neglected after his second failed marriage. He had just gone through a bitter divorce and was emotionally exhausted. Thought he was doomed to be alone forever when one day, after a long day at work, he decided to take a walk in the park. As he was admiring the beautiful scenery, he noticed a girl sitting on a bench with a book in her hands. Instantly, he was drawn to her and decided to take a chance. He slowly walked up to her. After a few minutes of conversation, he discovered that her name was Ria. She was an independent, strong-willed woman who had a passion for writing. As the two talked, a spark was ignited between them, and soon they found themselves on the same wavelength. They continued talking, and before they knew it, the sun was setting. That day, Pawan had gained a new friend, and he was already feeling the butterflies in his stomach. He was determined to take the friendship further, and soon they started going out on dates and spending quality time together. After a few months, he finally mustered the courage to tell her how he felt and asked her to be his girlfriend. To his surprise, she said yes, and the two of them were finally in a relationship. Pawan was on cloud 9. Despite his past failed relationships, he had finally found someone he could share his life. He was grateful for this new chapter in his life. For the first time in a long time, he felt genuinely happy and content. Pawan and Ria were now inseparable, and it seemed that their relationship was only getting stronger with each day. Ria and Pawan were happily married for years. Ria had a successful career as a project manager in Dharma realm Buddhist businesses. One day, while walking home from work, she noticed a figure following her. Ria tried to ignore him, but he kept coming closer. After walking further, she continued to hear footsteps, quickened her pace, leading to a tripping at the entrance to an alley. Suddenly, the man lunged forward and stabbed her repeatedly in a fit of rage. The attacker fled the scene, leaving Ria bleeding on the pavement. The police investigated the crime and soon identified the attacker as Pawan, a local criminal with a history of violence. He had a long rap sheet showing fits of rage, drunken bar fights, fender benders, and possession of drugs. However, despite their best efforts, the police were unable to apprehend Pawan, and he remained at large for months. Meanwhile, Pawan continued to stalk Ria's family and friends, sending them menacing letters and gifts. Everyone suspected that Pawan was the murderer, but they had no evidence to prove it. Suddenly, a mysterious tip led the police to the couple's house. When they tried to confront him, he was already dead. An investigation took place into Pawan's murder, where they found a missing heart and a red cross branded into his back. The killer was never brought to justice, and the case remains unsolved to this day. Detective Vishnu was a hard-boiled detective with a penchant for solving cases. He believed that no mystery was too difficult for him to solve, so when he was assigned to investigate a string of murders entitled The Pawan Murders, he was determined to find the culprit. His investigation led him to a decrepit old house in the middle of the woods. When he entered the house, he found himself face to face with a suspect, Oz, a mysterious figure with a taste for human hearts. Upon entering, he could see the house was in tatters, scarred with rotting wood and inverted crosses in the walls. Vishnu was shocked, but he kept his composure. Using the images he had taken of the house during his surveillance routine, he was able to detain Oz and interrogate him at the station. Detective Vishnu stepped to the interrogation room, his face stern and determined. Across from him sat Oz, the mysterious figure behind the disappearance of a local person. He was the prime suspect in the case, and Vishnu had to find out what he knew. Vishnu began the interrogation, his voice filled with authority. "Tell me everything you know, goddammit," he demanded. Rose remained silent. though his eyes were filled with fear and apprehension. Vishnu stared him down, determined to get the answers he needed. Finally, Ozzy slowly began to speak. He revealed that he was responsible for the disappearance of the missing person, Papa, and that he had been eating their hearts. Vishnu was horrified, but he kept his cool and he continued to interrogate Oz. He asked for details about the crime, pushing Oz to confess his motivation and intentions. Oz eventually broke down and revealed all of the gory details. Vishnu, feeling satisfied and appalled with the details he had just been given, left the room with a void in his eyes. He had cracked the case. The killer was brought to justice, but the fact that humanity has sunk so low began to take a heavy toll.
If Quandale Dingle